They didn't start out as campaigners. They just wanted to be role models for other lesbian couples. 13 years later, and they're being credited with bringing about one of the most significant changes to access to IVF.
When is this going to come into effect? And we can confirm it's from April 2023.
Yay! So less than a year,
Super
amazing.
Exciting.
Megan and Whitney are still celebrating the government's announcement. It will drop its policy to make couples like them pay for up to 12 rounds of artificial insemination before qualifying for IVF.
I get this email and I'm like, am I reading this right? I'm like, Megan, it was the most overwhelming feeling because I literally cannot believe what was rolled out. I thought this would maybe be 5 to 10 years down the road. It blindsided us, but in the best of ways. It just showed that the government has listened. It shows that, they know this isn't right.
Their campaigning began when they were told they'd have to pay to try to get pregnant before being eligible for IVF. They've taken legal action against their area's commissioning group, which decides local health policy.
It's been called a gay tax.
And it's the unfair financial burden, which is the discrimination. So essentially, same-sex female couples are being forced to pay a large amount of money that heterosexual couples aren't. It makes you feel like a second-class citizen in the fact that they're saying, well, this straight couple needs help having a child, and because they should naturally conceive but can't naturally conceive, they should have a baby. And it's like, okay. But because we naturally can't conceive, they're like, but you don't deserve a child. And that's just really shocking because...
The pair hope their action will force Frimley to change its policy sooner than April. Even if it does, same-sex couples who do end up needing IVF will still be at the mercy of the so-called postcode lottery facing all couples. NICE recommends women under the age of 40 should be offered 3 full cycles of IVF and 1 if they're between 40 and 42. But just 20% of regional commissioning groups follow that guidance. A staggering 80% don't offer 3 cycles. The Vale of York, Telford and Wrekin and Sheffield just give 1.
This is where it happens.
Until last November, Carol didn't see any NHS patients at her fertility clinic. The commissioning group in Sussex has only just started offering artificial insemination and IVF to any couple.
That's a fertilised egg. You'll see it divide into 2 cells.
So this is good?
This is good. Yeah. They're growing at the right rate.
Nearly 15% of her patients are same-sex couples who she says don't cost the NHS any more than heterosexuals.
The volume of patients we're going to see is going to be larger, but I think it's not a major cost issue. And I think that the NHS needs to look at fertility as a medical issue. It's a WHO medically defined condition, being infertile, and they need to understand whether it's social infertility or medically induced infertility. It needs to be offered to everybody on an equal basis.
The government's promise to improve fertility for all women and stamp out regional differences is no doubt something to celebrate. There are, though, some still fighting for parity.
For single men or same-sex male couples, they have a much more expensive fertility journey because they need an egg donor and they need a surrogate. So they have a larger bill. But they're equivalent to our same-sex female couples in obviously wanting to have a family. So we've still got some way to go in addressing the issues.
The new health secretary knows this and admits they are now only just righting the wrongs of the past for women.
There are needs of men and different groups of men that need to be reflected in commissioning decisions. But it's right that through the women's strategy we recognise there has been a gap in prioritisation of commissioners. That is what we worked for, and it's part of a 10-year strategy in which a number of steps have been taken.
I hit click and then Megan was on the first page.
No.
I was like, she's the one, she's the love of my life.
When Megan and Whitney met, they never imagined they'd have to fight for equal rights still today. They did, though, and won. Now they want to do the same for men. Emily Morgan, ITV News.